Okay, thank you very much for your time and good afternoon. And how are
Good
you?
afternoon. I'm very good, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. And welcome to PBA FM 89.7 in Salisbury in South Australia. So,
Good.
okay, look, I wanted to talk to you about your new CD. But before I do that, I've been reading about you and I've been listening to you since I was very young. But you've had a staggering 50-year career and counting. So that's pretty, that's really something to celebrate, isn't it?
It is, yes. Considering when I first started, I said to my parents, I'm going to give up my diploma. I'm not going to finish it. What I'll do is I won't finish the final year. But I said by the time I get to 25, I'll say I'll be most likely too old to be in the music business, so I'll go back and complete my final year.
Oh.
So yes, it has been a long run, which is great. It's longer than a marathon, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And so things worked out pretty well.
Yes, they did. And when I started, no one really looked at being in the music business as a career. It wasn't a career. It was something that you did because you liked it and it was fun and you really liked what was happening at the time and you were part of that sort of youth culture and that youth revolution. And so you got swept up in it. And a lot of my friends formed bands and did all those sort of things, and it was just sometimes luck plays a huge role in what you do in life. And I was virtually very, very lucky to meet like Ian Meldrum, particularly early in my career, and pick the right songs and make the right choices. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's something that you really, I think you want to, as you say, you want to have to do it, and it's the fun of it too. And as you say, it's not it's not something people would pick as a career. But and of course, Molly Meldrum, he had such a great part in so many Australian musicians and overseas as well. He's certainly done great things for Australia. So
yes, he has. He's been a real monument to the music here, and he has helped a lot of acts and tried to help a lot of acts as well,
Mm-hmm.
But he was also a very, 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 very good record producer. I listened the other day. I had to do a thing for Virgin Airlines where they were doing a sort of a collection of all my songs.
Oh, okay.
And two of the older songs went on, Hush and The Real Thing, and I listened to it and I realised what an interesting producer he was, because his bass in those two songs, if you listen to those songs, is incredibly predominant. And a lot of tracks these days don't have a real predominant bass, but almost like it was the main instrument at one stage. So he really pops it out, and really, he was an excellent producer, and he really knew what to get.
Yeah, and I think that was just something that came naturally to him, from what I can tell. He was just a natural sort of a person with that sort of thing. And I was going to ask you about that a bit later on, but I know that you've been doing lots of gigs, right through your whole career. But it's and you've had a stellar career with the fabulous fan base and a loyal fan base too, and I guess new fans over the years that you've been in the industry.
Yeah, I think once I did the blues albums, the 3 blues albums, there was a lot of different people that started to sit up and sort of take listen to what I was doing, and some people hadn't liked what I'd done before, and they liked what I did with the blues stuff, and it was an interesting thing to happen, because I really didn't expect, when I did my first blues album, Sharkmouth, I didn't expect it to be successful. I just did it because I loved it. And I love that style of music, and that's what I wanted to do. And when it took off and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger each week, it was like, it surprised me as much as it did most people in the music business, because every record company virtually in Australia knocked it back.
Mm.
So it was a surprise to everybody, including myself.
Yeah, and it's a big departure, as you say, from what you did previously in the 60s and the 70s. So, and I was going to ask you too, because your genre, it says there, is rock, but as time progresses and you get older, things change, and your, as you say, the songs that you sing change.
Yeah,
Things become a little
tend
bit
to.
more slower and bluesier, and perhaps even some people are now doing like the old crooning style of tracks, and it's just strange to see that happen over the years, but it's just something that's a natural progression, I feel.
I guess so. I haven't gone down that path of the crooning and the mellow album
No,
yet.
but yeah.
Particularly with this new album that I've just done, which is probably the first track is like as much in your face as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
So I tend to I like all types of music. I really do. Like in my car at the moment as I'm driving around, on my CD stacker I've got Bob Dylan,
Mm-hmm.
Steely Dan,
Ah,
Oasis,
yes.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, yeah.
What else have I got? Neil Young,
Yep.
Tom Petty.
Mm.
So I've got a lot of different sort of stuff in there that I tend to look at. And my love of music is, like, I love the blues.
Yes.
I really love people like John Lee Hooker and Howling Wolf and
Yep.
Lead Belly. They were all
Yeah.
big heroes of mine. But I also love Pink Floyd, things like
Yes.
that.
Yep. I'm exactly the same. I have a really varied collection of music. I like anything from the 50s right through to today. And that's just how I am. And I've grown up with music my whole life, so it's a no-brainer for me. But I just love everything. And you speaking of recording, you released the Black and Blue Heart album in April this year. Which debuted in the national ARIA charts at number 3. So that's fantastic, wasn't it?
It was. It was really nice. The album's still out there. I think we're bringing out a new single next month, and then we bring out another single in August. So just to keep it sort of going and keep it in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty happy with the album. I think it's. I've sort of taken a step almost backwards to what I used to do, in a way.
Yes.
And I wanted to do it with some people that I really admire. I've always admired Bernard Fanning, and I really admire Nick Didier, the two producers. And working with them was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because you have 11 tracks on that particular album.
That's right.
Yeah, and one is Ain't No Angel, Sitting Pretty, See You Go, and Not My Lucky Day, and also with the Black and Blue Heart being the title track. And it's a fantastic CD, so it's really, really great, and you've done a fantastic job with it. How did you go about writing? Did you write the songs?
Yeah, I wrote all the songs. I wrote them all very quickly, except for one. I wrote I think I wrote about 35 songs in about 4 months.
Wow.
And we picked the 14 to record. 3 got dropped.
Mm-hmm.
The only song that was really older than 4 months is There Anybody Out There, which I wrote a long time ago with Eddie Rayner from Crowded House.
Okay, yep.
So that's the oldest song on the album, but I've always loved that song, and I thought it might be an interesting song to include on the album.
Yeah, well, as I said, it's a fantastic album. And you were inducted into the ARIA Hall of Fame, I see, and that's a great recognition for all of your hard work, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, it is, but that was the catalyst that made me go out and do Shark Mouth and everything like that. Because what happened, I got the award, and I was recognised for all my achievements. And I felt like I was working for AMP,
Mm-hmm.
and they marched me out in front of all the employees and given me my gold watch and said, now piss off. But it felt like, so I thought, hang on, I'm not retired. This sounds like I'm retiring.
Yeah.
So I actually purposely went back, put my head back down and my nose to the grindstone and said, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
I'm not redundant. Surely I can come up with something that will sell. And then I thought, bugger it, I'm just going to do something for my own pleasure. I'm going to do an album. I'm going to do Shark Mouth. And if people don't like it, I don't really care, because this is what I want to do. And actually, it really it caught on, which was, as I said before, was a surprise.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's just, as you said, it's something that you wanted to do, and because you wanted to do it so much, that's why it became so popular, because you probably did, it was just a fantastic album, and that's just very strange, isn't it? Making people feel as if they're not needed anymore.
Yeah, I get. Well, the music business is unfortunately that's. If you look at all the other businesses now, if Jim Keys from the Masters Apprentices used to say this to me, he said if we were master craftsmen, like making cabinets and wardrobes and things like that, we would be considered now a master and respected in our business. Whereas in the music business, they tend to try and bury you very quickly.
Yes,
It's not the only business. I think TV soapies, they tend to do that with older actors as well. You know?
Yes. It's unfortunate, but that's how it seems to go. And yes, exactly.
It's only the music business where people feel that they have the freedom to be able to take a cheap shot like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Can you tell me, though, over the years, and as you say, you've been in the industry for 50 years, how do you feel about the change in with the computers that have come in and things have production has changed, and what are your thoughts on? I like to hear the thoughts on somebody who's been in the industry for so long, and things that are different now to the way it was all done once upon a time, in the 60s, 70s, and has that bothered you, affected you in any way?
Well, it's good and it's bad. Every innovation has benefits and drawbacks. And I think with the technology, the increase, like, for instance, my demos now that I do at home, I do on a laptop.
Yes.
And they sound really, really good. In fact, if I played you my demos compared to the album tracks, you'd go, oh, I understand. I see where it came from, and they're quite sophisticated what you can do at home. The only thing that bothers me is streaming. And this is just my personal sort of gripe, being my age, I guess.
Yes.
Like with streaming, the quality isn't as good.
True.
And also the other thing with streaming is acts like Jimmy Barnes, John Farnham, myself, Joe Camilleri, and that don't end up on playlists. There's like a whole lot of playlists that come from, say, places like Spotify.
Yes.
We'll end up on one, and Ariana Grande will end up on 7.
Yeah.
She will sell half the amount of hard copies that we sell.
True.
But she'll be streamed, so she'll go to the top of the charts. That's
it.
the only gripe I have about it. But, what can you do? You can't stop progress. So you have to move with it, and you've got to try and come up with something that's yours and something that's going to work for you.
That's exactly right. And I had put a couple of things down too. There was Spotify, iTunes. Well, they've gone by the wayside now, but Google Play, SoundCloud, MaxCloud, Xbox, Pandora. I mean, some of these things I had never heard of myself. Me being, 60 years old, I mean, computers weren't my thing when I was growing up. So I found it fascinating to think, gosh, I could just go to all these music streams. But as you say, the quality is not as good.
The quality is not as good, and it doesn't. What's happening with streaming, for instance, a lot of people, rather than buying an album now, will go, oh, I'll just stream it. And so they stream it and they listen to it about 8 times.
Exactly.
They go, oh, I've heard it. Now I'll move on to something else, because it's we're in a throwaway society.
That's exactly right. We don't seem to collect things like we used to. We had beautiful collections of records, of LPs and 45s. Luckily, some people still have them, the lucky ducks. But unfortunately, I lost all mine when I shifted from overseas. But I wish I'd still had them, because now it seems to be coming back a little bit. You're getting people are buying record players again and listening to their records, and they sound fantastic.
Well, they do. Well, I tell you what, whose record collection I would love to actually walk through a lot. I think it must be in a museum. It must be so big. Is Elton John.
Oh, right. Yep.
Elton John, everywhere he goes to a record store.
Wow.
And buys stacks and stacks of vinyl.
Wow.
So when he comes out here on his new tour, I imagine he'll go somewhere and he'll buy all the new Australian releases on vinyl.
Yeah.
And take them back. And his collection is phenomenal, apparently.
Wow. Yeah.
He's still one of the collectors, which is good.
And he does listen to a lot of varied music too, because he has helped other young people in the biz.
Well, I tell you what, who helped him and turned his whole career around was Daddy Cool.
Ah, yes, really? Wow.
Well, I met Elton John when he was out here at that time on that tour, and he was raving about Daddy Cool, and he said how wonderful they were, and they were and he loved the fact that they were joyous and they were fun, and they predicted fun. At that stage, he'd just done Your Song and Border Song. That was that album.
Oh, it's funny you say that, Border Song, because I've just gotten that song after all those years. I've found it and I finally got it, and it was just so strange because I've just gotten it now, and I liked it. Yeah,
it's a great song, and what happened? He went back, and of course, what was his next? What did he do? He completely changed his whole career. He did Crocodile Rock.
Yes,
and he dressed up flamboyantly and did all fun stuff, and so Daddy Cool really influenced him. So he's been really good like that. He'll go to other countries and he'll buy albums and listen to them and go, gee, I like that. I like what they're doing. And he'll take a little element from it, which is fabulous.
Yeah. I actually saw you playing with the Doobie Brothers and Santana when you were here in Adelaide a while back.
Oh, right,
and it still gets to me, even now when you sing The Real Thing, how people just jump up and absolutely love that track. And I think they always will, and it's just phenomenal that people just absolutely love it. They just go crazy,
Yeah, it is. It's a nice feeling that they like it. Yeah, it's good.
All those years ago, and it's still as popular, I think, as it ever was. Especially when you're singing it, it's fantastic. So, but it was good to see the response. But so you've got a tour coming up soon, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I've sort of finished the Apia tour. Now we've started again promoting my own stuff, and this week we're down in Melbourne. We go to Melbourne and then come back to Queensland. We work in Queensland for 3 dates, and then I think I go back down to Melbourne and then to Sydney. Yeah, I don't really stop now till May next year.
Okay, because I did speak to Kate Sobrano about the Apia tour, and she said what a lot of fun it was. So it was a lot of yous together, and so. But she's lovely too. But I see that you and Dale Hole are doing a winter rhythm and blues concert. Is that in Perth? You're going into Perth? Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's a hell of a talent. I watch him play slide guitar, and I just cannot. He is fantastic the way he plays over the neck, the way he does. I've tried to do that. I can't get it together at all.
Isn't it fascinating? Yeah.
He is fantastic. I've seen a couple of players do that, and it's just mighty. But I'm incapable of doing that. He's really good. I can do slide the other way with my hand upwards on the neck.
Oh yes, I know what you mean.
Dave Hole is wonderful, and I love working with him. He's a beautiful man.
Yeah. So are you going to be travelling around with just your band? And
yeah, always with my band. I've got the same band, and we've been mates for a long time. Peter Robertson, the guitar player, and I've been together for 15 years.
Oh, excellent. It's good to have the same people beside you, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's good, and they're great. They're really great talents. They're a wonderful bunch of musicians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Before we sort of sign off here, I don't want to keep you too long, but people can get tickets. Tell people where they can get tickets.
I guess that's the venue. The venue's the best place to ring up the venue.
And they can check your website?
Check the website, yeah.
And they can find
the real thing, russellmorris.com, yeah.
Yeah, and they can find out all they need there. And anyone that's not following you already on social media, they can find you that way too, can't they?
Yes, they can, and on Facebook or the real thing, Russell Morris on Instagram, which I do a lot of posts on that as well.
Yeah, where you have some great stories and some funny clips and pictures too. I've seen that you're doing the FaceTime, the going live at the...
Yeah, well, Kate taught me to do that.
Yes, I know.
I'm in the Neanderthal when it comes to some technical things, and Kate said, I said, really? Show me. And she did it for me, and I went, what, it's that simple?
Yeah.
And she said, yes.
Yeah, and it's good fun too. Yeah.
So I need to do it more because
Yeah.
I get a bit slack sometimes,
Yeah,
but I need
yeah.
to do it a little bit more.
It's great because you're doing it in real time, and people can actually see it right there and then, and people will click on and think, "Wow, that's awesome!" It's technology does have its great,
That's right. That's
great time things.
That's the benefits of technological advances.
That's right.
They're fabulous.
Yeah, yeah, and you must have seen quite a few, no doubt.
I certainly have.
Yeah,
I certainly have, and it is phenomenal. My gaze is outward these days. I'm very into astrophysics, and
yes, of
there's a lot
course.
of things that I'm hoping that they can solve, that I can see the answers of.
Yeah,
And it'll be phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah, wouldn't that be fantastic? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much out there that we don't know.
Well, it's endless.
Oh, it's absolutely endless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long after everyone's gone, I guess,
Yeah.
too. Yeah. But it's very interesting indeed. So, but look, I'll have to leave it there, Russell, but I just wanted to thank you so much for your time.
Well, thanks for yours.
And,
And listen, if I don't get on the radio with you, people don't know about the album. And
That's right.
you never get it heard because I don't get, as I said, I don't get streamed.
Yeah, well, I've been
much.
playing it since I got it, so I loved it straight away as soon as I heard it, and I actually heard it on the radio too, on community radio, and I thought, wow, I'm going to get that, which I did. So it was absolutely fantastic.
Thanks very much.
And you've done a lovely, lovely, great job. So, and with more to come too. So that's even better. But
Yep.
all right, then we shall say our goodbyes, and I just want to thank Russell Morris once again for being on our little community radio station here in Adelaide, in Salisbury, PBA FM 89.7, and you are with me, Sophia, and I do Manic Mondays every Monday from. Give myself a little plug from 12 until 3 p.m. on a Monday. So there you go. But I just once again, it was great to speak to you, and I finally got the chance to do this. So it was really wonderful, and I love speaking to people like you who have been in the business for a long time, because I love to see how and I love to see and hear what people say, and that. How things have changed over the years, because as you say, today it's an instantaneous thing. It can be an instantaneous thing with YouTube and things like that, and someone can just be on YouTube and boom, you can be seen by millions. And I like the people that have done the hard yards and earned everything they've got. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've been in the trenches, yeah.
Yeah, I like that sort of thing, and I think, hey, that's how to go about it, and you get to see those people do that and come up through the ranks, and it's brilliant. So, and you happen to be one of them, so there you go.
Thanks very much, Sophie.